Hi guys, welcome to AKIC's another session talking to one of our community members, understanding their journey so far. So with us is Vaishnavi. She's from UK, currently doing her masters in business analytics from University of Leeds, and University of Stirling, and so we were talking before the conversation just started. So she has that interesting story to share where she had done 2 masters in UK, and maybe along with your introduction, we would like to hear that particular story, why it actually led to that 2 masters, and then let's go from there. Yeah, please.
Yeah, so like we were talking, it's quite, an interesting yet a weird situation to be in. Like doing one master's itself is like kind of capital intensive as well as time intensive. So when you're around 23 or 24, you would really want your career to start off. And extending your studies is something like kind of a risk, actually. So first, for my first master's, that was in 2018. So I chose to pursue master's MSc in enterprise and entrepreneurship. So I was very interested. I just finished my undergraduation at that point, and I had a campus placement in my hand, but I was like, no, this is just too generic. I want to do something else. So thanks to my really, really supporting parents, I chose to pursue this master's in University of Leeds. So that was my first stint in UK. It was actually really, really amazing. Point being, I came back again, so that says something. So I was here and I finished my 1-year course in 2019. Or December. The graduation was in December, so I finished, and I was hoping to start something on my own. Like, my major was enterprise and entrepreneurship, so I was looking to maybe start something in UK itself, or that's when I was still in the planning stage. That's when COVID came. Hello world, hello pandemic. So and another interesting thing was, at that time there was no PSW, so there was nothing I could do. Pretty much I had to go back home. So I reconciled myself, saying, okay, we are back home. Home is a great place to start something new, like startup is a good idea at home. But as none of us ever realized, COVID became like really scary. So there was no chance I could do anything. And at that point, my health also took a little weird turn. So I'm an asthmatic, so it was all well under control. But then the pandemic, and I don't know, it just turned weird. So my doctors were like, I don't think you should stay in India for some time. Like the pollution levels, and it was crazy. So that's when another chance to go abroad came. So it was like, I have to choose now. Do you want a quality life or struggle? So definitely quality life. So yeah, then again, the difficult choice of masters or job or what. That's when the news of PSW came out, and that was like a blessing in disguise. So okay, now I can go do masters and find a job and have a quality life. So this time, then again the question, this time, what do you want to do? What's the major? What's your course? So in this meanwhile, I have worked with few startups. So I was really interested. So I did some internships, a lot of volunteering for friends and network who were willing to start something. So in this process, I realized I'm really good with data and analytics and consulting as well. Because I do talk a lot, I do communicate a lot, and a lot of friends have told that my insights have been really helpful with their ventures. So I thought, okay, why not? Like, I'm good with stuff, but I need tech. At that point, I was like, no coding experience and nothing related to tech. So I thought this gap doesn't bode well because the world is becoming technology. So I thought, okay, let's do business analytics then. I browsed through. It's like going through the whole thing again. So yeah, okay, but this time I was better informed. I know what happens. So I went through the whole thing again. I chose University of Stirling. They had the great option. They gave us a really good scholarship from India, for students from India. So that was amazing, like really amazing. So where I chose University of Stirling. And okay, I fell in love with the place when I first saw their website. This is such an amazing place. I don't think I can ask for any more purer oxygen than from here. So it was really beautiful, and the staff also were amazing when I was talking with them. So yeah, after a hectic schedule and late applications and whirlwind IELTS exam, here I am in Stirling, almost finished with my course, and I'm on course to get a merit at least, which I'm really, really pleased about. So yeah, that's my really weird story of double masters.
Right. That was nice. That was nice. So on that first masters, again, I just want to give some information to our community members. So there are two visa programs, right? If I'm not wrong, there is an innovation visa and also a startup visa that the UK government is providing. If you know anything or any information on that,
sure.
can you share for the benefit of the community?
Yeah, sure, definitely. So I have been doing research around those visas, because as I said, I was really interested. So what I've discovered is startup visa is something that you can get if if your university endorses your startup idea. So most universities in UK have enterprise and innovation division on campus. So all you need to do is just get in touch with them, and most of the universities also have incubation centers. So if you have an idea and you get in touch with with the people, innovation and enterprise people from your campus, they give you necessary directions as to how to get it done. And once you have your university's endorsement for your project, they usually also, most universities are also qualified to sponsor you for visa. So that counts under startup visa. So from my research, startup visa, you get 3 years. You can stay in UK, work on your startup. In that time, I don't think you can work on anything else. I'm not sure on that point, but yeah, that's that. And after 3 years, you get PR. You're eligible for PR. That is like the fastest road. So that is exactly why I'm a little more interested in startup. It's easier. So after 3 years, you're directly eligible to get PR. So that's the startup visa. Innovator visa is a little more different. It's more investment oriented. So you need to invest some amount of money into a company or organization here in UK, which will then enable you to be a part of that through innovator visa. I know I'm not sounding like giving a lot of details, but yeah, this is what I've been looking at, researching. But if you wish to know more, what I suggest is talk to your innovation and enterprise team. So I'm scheduled to meet with them next week or so at my university. So anyways, I would really suggest, if you have a really good idea and you're not sure if it should be the way, I suggest give it a go. From what I've learned, startups in UK, the environment is really, really good for startups, especially if it is tech or fintech. The environment is really feasible for startups. So if you have a great idea, or at least an idea, and you have a group of people would join you, or if you want a group of people to join you, just put yourself out there, talk to people. And yeah, startup is a really, really good idea to see, Admit Card is doing an amazing job, right? So, pitch in yourself. Your idea would also maybe work. So, yeah.
Got it. All right. So, you did one master's, and you mentioned in between the conversation that that particular process helped you to take a decision for your second master. So just want to know, or just was curious enough to know, what were those star points that you were really looking for while doing your masters? I mean, while choosing your second masters, just to get an insight on.
Yeah, sure. One of the most important thing was education, like the course itself. So when I was choosing for the first one, I was a little confused. Like, there were so many options. Like, in India, we are very much used to a particular set, like engineering, doctors, lawyers. Like, here, you'll have like bucket load of choices, and I'm pretty sure all of us have thought about like variety of choices we would love to. So maybe philosophy, maybe psychology, maybe history. Like, there is a little thing inside us that we all love to have explored. But thanks to engineering boom, all of us have become pretty much engineers. But so when you see those courses, you'll be really, really tempted to take them. But see, at the end of the day, this is for a career, and we really need to make sure we get a job, or there is a career going forward. And so that's what I realized when I was taking the course for the second one. So you should know where your skills are, like where you can actually work on, because doing masters is not a small thing. The study is intensive. Okay, the assignments, or it is something that we are not used to before. Like, from India, the system is kind of very different from what we are used to in India. So if you take some course just because it sounds good, and it's going to be really hard for you to actually complete the course properly. Like, I've seen a lot of people who just don't like coding, or just don't like any tech, but they have chosen it because a lot of other people are doing it. And once they are into masters, they have really, really struggled with, and there have been long backlogs, and the dissertations not happening. So I'm seeing a lot of people, and that's actually terrifying, because we are here for a year with a lot of investment, a lot of student loans. And if you don't make it, then it's going to be really hard for you going forward. So that thing I learned, choosing with caution, and estimating what you can actually do. That's the first thing I learned. The second thing, of course, is universities, choosing them. So the first time around, I was really eager to choose the top universities. And, I've done so much research looking at the rankings and everything. The second time around, I realized that ranking is fine, but that doesn't mean the world. So it's okay if it's a medium ranked one, as long as their course structure is good, as long as their research facilities are good, and as long as the course is giving you what you are hoping for, and they have a good sound structure. So University of Leeds is actually ranked higher than Sterling, but then I could have gone back for University of Leeds again. So, but like I said, its ranking is not everything. Of course, the top universities are really amazing, but don't get stuck on ranking. It's fine, because it changes. And overall, pretty much all universities do try to provide the best they can for their students. That's the best thing about studying here, as far as I'm concerned. So go with your, like, even for me, business analytics was a course that not many universities offered. So it was either business analytics and management, or the only business analytics had only few universities offering it, and one of those was University of Stirling. Okay, anyways, along with with this, there were cost considerations. the staying accommodation parts. And so overall, just don't get stuck on university rankings. Yeah, that's pretty much the best lessons I've learned from doing it twice.
Right. Okay. I think that would be really helpful for the current students who are on board. So my next question would be, you so on during our previous community meetup that we had for our UK group, you were really vocal about what are the different challenges our students are facing, and different situations that you guys have gone through. So just want to, maybe let's start off with sharing those problems initially, and then maybe let's get to know more about how you are trying to handle those, and then trying to go over those hurdles, and then when making your life and that reach that particular goal. So maybe can you take us through that?
Yeah, sure. Like everybody else in the community that we were discussing in the chat, finding job is definitely the major priority and major pain point. So studying, fine, the course it goes, and even though it's a little intense, you'll get the hang of it. And by the time you get the hang and realize it's almost done, and now you really have to think about what next. And it's like, for example, take my case. This is summer, so in a month and a half, I need to submit my dissertation, and I'm like really scrambling, working over it. But what after a month and a half? I don't have a job in my hand as of yet. And like today's session, Asta was discussing about finding a job is a job itself. So it's like a full-time effort you need to put in there, especially because we are international students. Okay, so locals definitely have advantage over us. Like, it's basic common sense. Why would a company choose an international student and go to the pains of sponsoring you when they can get a local guy? So that's one big issue. So in other than that, like there are a lot of people who have prior experience, and that's actually very handy. But then for people like maybe me, who don't actually have kind of the on-field experience, but have very good academic experience. So throughout our masters, we are given a lot of case studies, a lot of projects that we work on. All of them do count as experience. You just have to, that is what I learned. You have to show that as an experience in your resume. So that should make the difference. So from today's session and from the sessions I had with our career and employment team from University of Stirling, that's what I've learned. Don't ever project yourself as you have no experience. You have some experience. You did a master's degree. So okay, in my case, twice. So that is experience in itself, because I've been a student consultant to so many organizations, right, from NHS to a lot of social enterprises that give their problem statement for us to solve, like, so as assignments. So that does count. So that's one thing that I learned that I should put in my resume. And coming to the resume itself, that itself is a whole another task. So I think in my desktop itself, there are 5-6 versions of my resume, which of course I'm not very happy with, because from what I've got today, I really need to revisit all of them again. So so that's what I'm saying. It's a learning process. Okay, you will not be perfect for the first time. So you still need to keep going and going and going. And the other most difficult thing is, for example, if you're a data scientist or a business analyst like me, once you go into LinkedIn and search for a business analyst position, you will be given so many options, like plenty of options, plenty of positions as business analyst. And it's really, really confusing as to which ones you can apply to. Like, see, there are graduate roles. Like Asta was saying, even though you're a postgraduate student, if you have no experience, you really have to maybe even apply to a graduate role as well. So that was usually depressing at a point, because when I checked out what the graduate role would bring in, they have included a lot of training which I'm already doing in master. So I'm like, okay, this is really like repeating. But then at some point, you need it. It's a kind of experience, so that does count. So what I'm saying is, there will be periods of depression where you'll be really frustrated with yourself, and you'd be like, what am I worth? So okay, I'm in between the bouts of those things, but trust me, you are worth. And one other thing that I've recently took up is blogging. So it really helps. Like, just talk to people. There are a lot of people like us out there. Talk. Maybe we come up with something that is mutually beneficial, and do the projects. Like, for example, if you're a data scientist, take up some pet project, work on it, and then, publish it in GitHub, or just publish it. Somebody might notice you. So I was really skeptical about this before, but I've seen other people do it in LinkedIn, and I was like, okay, that's easy. I can do it. So it really, really puts you out there. That's the best lesson I've learned. Just put yourself out there. Something will come up. So yeah, that's me.
Right. So one other question that I had just now was, there are so we all are international students, and we come from a different country, and we all have our own character limitations. Say for example, some are really extroverted people. They try to mingle to the community. They try to network with a lot of people, but most of them, I think, they are really afraid of making that connection, making that first step, for first move in getting into a community or getting into a network, in moving forward in that direction. So any suggestions or any positive notes on that?
Yeah. Yeah, it's good that you actually mentioned that, because I myself am an introvert. Like, I barely do any social activities. So, and my circle is like really small, which I shouldn't be saying as a business analyst, because if you're in business management, you really need to be able to communicate well with people. But if you're being an introvert doesn't mean you shouldn't even, you won't get the opportunity, right? It doesn't matter if you're an introvert, it's okay. So one thing that is really good for people like introverts like me is the classroom sessions. That's where I learned to be outgoing. Like, lecturers or professors are really, really good. So they keep asking you questions here, and they're very friendly when you do ask a question. So try to be really interactive in class. Okay, so when professor is asking you something, or your opinion or your feedback, or if they are discussing a topic, just, even if it's just a sentence, just pitch in your view, whatever it is. So once you start that, people around you are going to notice you, and they will know that you're a person with such and such a kind of view. So if any opportunity comes, they would approach you. So that's how I got into a really good group for my assignments, and that is how I got an opportunity to intern with one of my professors. So she started a social enterprise, and she introduced herself as the one who is starting social enterprise during our session in class. So it took me 2 classes to go up to her and ask if there is any opportunity. So it takes time. It's okay to take time, but at the end of the day, make sure you ask, or just put it out there. And social media is an amazing place. You don't actually have to talk to people face to face. You can just text, which I love too. So like this community that is happening in Telegram, just ping a message. You actually don't have, you can reply at your own time. They'll reply at your own time. So I think that is the best platform for introverts. Like there is no constant social exposure, and you can reply at your time, and it doesn't have to be face to face. So get into groups. Social media is a great place. Facebook or LinkedIn or even Telegram, this community that we have. So just get in there, and even if you don't reply in the beginning, just listen to people. You get to listen to people, right? So if you find something interesting, just ping in. So it worked well for me so far. So I'm happy. And yeah, there are a lot of introverts out there. So we are happy to help. Just ping in, and yeah, that's that.
All right. So maybe let's end this session. This is just a short session. Maybe we'll have a couple more in the near future. So just want to get maybe your thoughts or maybe your advice for students who are currently pursuing their jobs, or any tips or any tricks that you currently follow on a day-to-day basis. You mentioned that job hunting itself is a job, like Asta mentioned today. So what are your day-to-day activities that you specifically focus on this particular job hunting journey?
So this is a recent habit that I've developed. What I do is the first thing in the morning with a nice cup of coffee, I go to my day-to-day planner, and I see what I've in addition to the already assignments and whatever is happening, the first thing along with the coffee and journal is open LinkedIn. I just browse through LinkedIn. Like I really like to see people's achievements. That's another thing. So I just keep browsing. There are a lot of updates from my university, from other people I follow, and people who follow me. So and it does show, you may know, strip. So any role that stands out, I click, I look at it. And of course, there is jobs for you alerts. So I keep, even though I know, even though I see a job profile that might not be right for me because it's asking for 2 to 3 years of experience or 5 years of experience, I just read through the job description. Yeah. And I think, okay, can I do this? Can I do this? Or if there is any software like SQL or anything that I can't do. So or anything that I don't understand in the job description, I just look it up. So in case I do get an interview for some other job and they ask me this, so I'll be prepared. Even though I have no idea what it is, I'll at least know the definition, so I can just cook up something. Like at least they'll know, okay, this girl has some idea. Maybe she'll develop more. So that's a kind of little habit that I've been making in the recent days. So it's really helpful. So I know what I need in order to get the position that I want. So that, coupled with the tips I'm getting from the community, I'm actually hopeful. So yeah.
All right.
That's me.
Okay. So all the best for your journey so far. I think you've given a tremendous lot of information for the community, and how we can traverse through this particular difficult time. Thank you, Vaishnavi, for being a strong
thank you so
community
much.
member, and also thank you for sharing those information with us. Looking for more such sessions like this. Maybe on the next session, maybe let us expect that you are in a better position, having a better offer with you, working for a good company. So thank you for your time, and have a wonderful day.
Yeah, you too. Thank you so much for having me. Thank you.
Yeah.
Have a good day.